Hakadosh Boker Or Bekiim Bahalacha 6, day 26, page 70. The Siman 158, Kuf Samechet, Seif Kavbet, halacha 22. Says halacha, Achar Netillat Yadayim nachon sheyishavshan zo bezo. Meaning, after you pour the water on your hands, what you're supposed to do is you wipe each hand with the other. So you come and you do this, it's called shifshuf. Right? Lefshashef et hayadayim. Afilu shafach aleim haravit. Even if you did pour a ravit on them, or bilam banar, or you put them inside of a river or a mikveh. It's also according to the Arizal of the Rashash. That's what you're supposed to do. So according to them, you do right the 3 times on the yamin and 3 times on the small. Okay, here it says it in the English. He says after someone pours the water on his hands, he's going to wipe. Thank you. Yeah, he's going to wipe the right hand 3 times with his left hand. And then left hand, so he's going to do like this. He just did Netillat Yadayim, correct? Right, left. What does he do? He comes and he says like this, and then like this. So 3, 3, 3, and then 3. Okay? So now he says, right? Even if you didn't do it, technically, even if you didn't do it at all, you're going to be Netillat Yadayim. The only thing is, this is the proper thing, what you're supposed to do. Okay? And that is also according to the minhag of the Kabbalah. Okay, 21, look in the footnote. Rabbeinu Yaakov, he says the author of the Tur. Okay, so this is the Balaturim. He comes and he wrote that one should pour a revit of water on both hands at once, or a revit of water on each hand, and then wipe each one with each other. The Maran Bet Yosef wrote that it appears that one is obligated to wipe the hands on each other. He then demonstrated that this is the opinion of the Rambam, right? And okay, fine. The Kolbo, the Samag, right? And Rabbeinu Shimshon. The Samag. So he says Rabbeinu Shimshon, however, interpreted the term L'Shavshef to dry, not to wipe, but to dry. Maran deduced from the Rosh that we are obligated by the halacha to wipe the hands to each other, but he remained and decided whether the Kolbo agrees, right, that it's actually going to be an obligatory thing or not, or voluntary. The Rav Chida demonstrated from several Rishonim that it's another chova. Since Maran brings down the Shulchan Aruch, he brings down this shita, it appears obviously that he agrees with this ruling. The Matei Yehuda also agreed with this position, and he added that it might be that the purpose of the wiping of the hands is either for cleanliness, right? He says, so one more time, a person comes, they do Netillat Yadayim. After they do Netillat Yadayim, whether it's according to the halacha or according to the Kabbalah, you come and you're going to wipe the right hand 3 times like this, and then the left hand 3 times like this. Okay? In contrast, the Bach interpreted the Shulchan Aruch to mean wiping is only a voluntary part of the mitzvah, explaining that since Maran was undecided, so therefore he ruled leniently. Okay? And he says the truth is that's the plain meaning of the words in the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah ruled that one is obligated to wipe the hands on each other. Several Achronim agreed with this. Look in the Bekiim and so on and so on. According to the Kabbalah, it's a vital element of the mitzvah. So the minute mamash, it's chashuv, it's important part of the mitzvah. They taught that one must first wipe the right hand and then the left hand, as described in the halacha here, which is a translation of the Ben Ish Chai's instructions. He explains that although the Rizal's words imply that wiping each other is already right, even 1 time is enough. Rav Shalom Sharabi, the Rashash taught that it has to be done 3 times. Okay, we can be confident that the Ben Ish Chai promised that Rav Sharabi must have a good source for what he said, therefore must follow his teaching. After all, there's certainly nothing wrong by doing it 3 times instead of just 1 time. Okay, fine. Halacha Kav Gimel. You have it? Okay. Yeah, halacha Kav Gimel. Ledat Shulchan Aruch anotel tzarich lagbiya yadav. According to Shitat Shulchan Aruch, when you do Netilat Yadayim, you have to pick up your hands, which means rashet tzviotav lemala. Which means that the rashet tzviotam, they're going to go upwards. Because you don't want the water to come back down and to be mitameh yadayim. Meaning, if you leave your hands like this, what happens is the water comes down and then it's going to be mitameh again yadayim. But that's only if you didn't wash until the wrist. But if you did wash until the wrist, you don't have to do that. Or if you did pour a revi'it in 1 shot, or a revi'it on every single hand, or you dipped your hands in the nahar in the river, you don't have to pick up your hands. But according to the Arizal HaKadosh, even in such a case, and even if you did the revi'it, and always have to pick up the hands, keneged harosh, right, parallel to your head, ulfachot keneged apanim, or at least parallel to your face, which means that you're picking up your hands like this, right? You're picking, remember, the rashet beotam lemala, right, that you have to pick up your hands. So according to the Arizal HaKadosh, you always have to do that. Whether it's you did a revi'it, whether it's a nahar, whether it's whatever it is. But according to the halacha, that's only if you didn't do the revi'it or you didn't do the other things. But if you already did a full revi'it and all those things, right, you do not need to do such a thing. Okay? Until here we're clear. Fine. Yeah, we're almost done. 22 in the footnote. The footnote 22 says, as explained above in the footnote to halacha 15, if someone pours less than a revi'it, to the page of 71 on the bottom. If some, right, as explained above in footnote 15, if someone pours less than a revi'it on each hand, the hands become purified, but the water on the hands becomes tmeim. Therefore, it's necessary to pour in the water a second time. Okay, you remember that according to Shulchan Aruch, it was going to become 2 times if there was no revi'it v'vatachat, and then we said if the hands were dirty, it's 3 times. But it's usually 2 times. And according to the Kabbalah, it's always going to be 3 times. And that was Ben Ish Chai and everybody else also as well. Okay? So if someone pours the water in their hands and then is not careful to hold the fingers upwards, some of the water which is tameh might run down. Right? In fact, that is likely to take place since it's nearly impossible to pour the water exactly where it needs to be poured without going a little bit further. So this water is tamim. For its contact with the hands is purified. If the water is allowed afterwards to run back on the fingers, it's going to make them tamim. So therefore, the Chachamim come and they say you put the fingers upwards, right, after doing Netillat Yadayim until after you dry them, and then you prevent them from becoming Tme'im. And all this applies, obviously, if you're going to do, right, pours the water onto the fingers up to the place where they meet the palm, which is all that's necessary technically according to the halacha. But if you did more than that, so therefore you don't have that problem, right? Why? Because any water that runs from the palm past the wrist does not become Tme'im because anyway you didn't need to do it there, right? So he comes in and he says, likewise, if you're going to do Netillat Yadayim by putting it in a mikveh, in a river, right? Or if he pours a revit on both hands or on each hand, so again, you don't need to do that. The Toseftas teaches specifically someone who immerses his hands does not have to hold them aloft. The Bet Yosef explained that this is because when someone immerses his hands, no water becomes tameh. Meaning when you put your hands inside of a mikveh or inside of a river, no water becomes tameh. There's so much water there that doesn't exist of the tumah. Right? You purified your hands, right? Tiharta et yadayim. But the mayim don't need to mean you can't be mitameh a river, right? No matter what you cannot be mitameh a river. So he comes and he says, or a stream, whatever. So he says, therefore, the same rule applies when someone is pouring a revit on each hand. According to the Aruch, however, it's still necessary to put it upwards. The Shulchan Aruch ruled that these cases is not necessary to hold the fingers upwards. The Acharun Magen of Raman Acharim explained that it must be the Maran changed his mind about the opinion of the Aruch. Okay? Then he brings down the Rishon LeZion. No, inside there.
Above the wrist.
Yes, there's no tumah because if mitzad halacha, it's only until the knuckles, so the water that's here is not going to be able to
above the wrist.
Yeah, for sure, no, but even above the knuckles, That's why he's saying according to the halacha, if you did it until here, technically speaking, you don't have to pick up your hands above your head. So the thing is, you have to do it al piyat Kabbalah. That's what we just said. So one more time, according to halacha, right? According to halacha, if you don't pour a revi'it in one time, or you don't pour a revi'it on each hand, or if you do not put your hands in a mikveh or a river, so then you do have to pick up your hands immediately afterwards, right? But according to the Kabbalah, you always have to pick up your hands, right? Upwards, right? Lefachot keneged rosh or lefachot keneged panim. No, you don't have to do that. No, you don't. Yeah, right above left. Okay, very good. Okay.